morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. And my name is Lulu. I'm Assistant Professor of the School of Sport, Tourism, and Hospitality at Temple University. So today I'll be presenting a mini webinar on consumer sentiment regard to COVID-19, travel, and engaging in various hospitality experiences post-COVID-19. I'll be working with my dear colleague, Dr. Lindsay Lee, on this presentation. And so this is a mini webinar series. This is part of the webinar series intended to support small tourism and hospitality business to navigate unprecedented times as a result of COVID-19 by exploring various topics related to operations, health and safety, marketing, risk management, contingency planning, and innovation. We hope to provide a meaningful and relevant insight in relation to current small business issues to help you understand and also respond to the changing landscape. So this series is brought to you by the Center for Hospitality Resilience, a joint initiative of Temple University School of Sport, Tourism, and Hospitality Management and the Small Business Development Center. So now I'm going to share my screen with you all, and I will ask Dr. Lindsay Lee to take over.
Hi, good morning. Thank you all for joining. Just wanted to welcome you all to our mini series. Today we're going to be talking about the consumption freeze due to COVID and taking the customer's pulse in terms of what they're expecting once our stay-at-home orders lift and we are once again able to see each other in real life and interact. This study was conducted by the School of Sport, Tourism, and Hospitality Management, as well as the U.S. Asia Center for Tourism Hospitality Research. We surveyed a total of 900 U.S. residents towards the end of May when a lot of the restrictions were still in place, but some states were starting to lift. So if we could continue to the next slide, I will let my co-presenter, Dr. Liu, take over.
Sure, thank you, Dr. Lee, for the introduction. So given the consumption freeze during the lockdown, so many things remain uncertain. So here, some questions that this study can help answer are the following sections. So first of all, I'll be talking about the first question, which is, are they coming back for the rest of 2020? So looking at the data here, it shows we asked the respondent to indicate, think about their rest of the year of 2020, their levels of consumption frequency for the following business and activities. How are they going to compare to the post-COVID, the pre-COVID period, so which is before March 2020. So it's very interesting. We see a clear difference across business categories in terms of consumers' response. So for example, the good news is for hospitality services that support daily consumptions, we have seen a green light. So basically customers are missing those experiences, and after the restrictions are released, that they indicate that their consumption frequency will go back to the same or even much more than before. So these businesses include such like coffee shops, bakeries, and restaurants across scales, anywhere from quick service to casual dining and even to fine dining restaurants, and also including beauty care, spa, and fitness center. So pretty much we have seen these are supporting customers' daily consumption. People miss these experiences. However, on the flip side, we have seen businesses that require group gathering or pretty much indoor activities, customers are still very much apprehensive to come back. So for example, like meetings, conferences, conventions, and indoor concerts, performance, movie theater, and nightclubs. So we can see here more than half of the respondents indicate that their consumption frequency for the rest of the year 2020 will be much less than before. So this is a clear difference we have seen in terms of different type of business. So next one is, since the economy have gradually reopened and the business reopened to welcome customer back, and the study also surveyed the customers' opinion on what are some really important measures that they expect business to implement. So post-COVID. So when we ask them after the stay-at-home order is lifted, after restrictions are lifted, business reopen, please read those measures that you believe to be important for you to come back. So we provide a whole list of different measures, and here we only present some top listed ones. So these practices are rated by more than 50% of the customers. They consider these to be important measures. So from the beginning, which on top of the list is social distancing. So they believe implementing social distancing with other customers in their shared space to be very important. So this is the highest rated factor. And then providing sanitizing product, and also require their employees to wear masks, and also check temperature for their employee, for their in-store workers to make sure they're healthy and safe, and provide a single-use item, such as single-use menu, single-use condiment. So abandon those reusable items in the past, and also reduce indoor capacity, visitor volume, and also minimize human contact. So try other alternative format to deliver the service. Try to minimize human interaction, human contact. What next is provide more outdoor spaces for customers to enjoy. And the next one is they even suggest stores can check temperature for customers to make sure that other people in the shared environment are also healthy and safe. And the last one is requirement for customers to wear masks. So these 10 are top rated factors that customers are expecting business to implement. So following that, we even further ask the respondents to think about their local stores, basically the local business they used to visit, for example, their favorite bakeries, local restaurants, cafes, shops, creameries, etc. And we ask them to recall these local business and indicate in a post-COVID era, so basically after the restrictions are lifted, they are reopened, what are some determining factors they would choose to visit and where to visit? And so these three factors in the pie chart, they receive the highest ratings from the respondents. So now surprisingly, we can see this one, implementing health and safety measures for workers, receive the most respondents from the customer. So this is not surprising at this moment. So customers still consider this health and safety to be the most important, especially implement for their indoor co-workers. So make sure when they go back and interact with their old folks, they feel safe. So the next factor they believe to be the determining factor is implementing social distancing guidelines in store. So very similar, these two factors are all around health and safety concerns. Customers now are thinking about the plan to go back to visit their favorite local stores. And the next one, the third factor, is the product quality. So they still consider product quality and service quality to be very important. And this factor is rated as the third factor. So I also want to show you all other measures we surveyed. The previous slide just shows the top rated ones. And it's very interesting to pull out some data point. For example, existing relationships. So in a regular term, when we think about our local businesses, we value our existing relationship with the business, with the folks we know. We miss that customer relationship. But it looks like in the post-COVID era, only less than a third of the respondents indicate this would be a determining factors for them to go back. So definitely we have seen a change right here. And another factor I want to briefly talk about is social influence. So again, in a regular term, we know that how much we're influenced by our close social networks, especially our friends and family, social norms. But so it looks like when the business reopen and in the post-COVID period, when customers think about their local business stores, and social influence now start to play a very secondary role in this place. So rather than using their social influence as a decision maker, customers much more rational in this case. So looks like people becoming a little bit more immune to their social influence. So still going back to the previous slide, health and safety measures, and still the key to win customer back for local business. All right. So the next one I'm going to talk about is off-premise services. So we have all seen that during the pandemic, especially the peak of the pandemic, restaurant industry has been very nimble, coming up with all kinds of different alternative services to still keep in touch with their customers, offering off-premise services, for example, curbside pickup, delivery, drive-through, even including the business that they never had this model before. So we further surveyed into customers' perceptions of these alternative format of services. So are off-premise service going to stay after the stay-at-home order is lifted? So when business reopen. So the data are about different types of restaurant sectors. Basically, we ask people to rate on the list of service they are interested to use or continue to use when business reopen after the pandemic. So these businesses include a quick service restaurant, fast casual, casual family style, and to the upscale fine dining restaurant. Let's see what the result shows. So it's very interesting. Based on the overall pattern, we have seen a consistent result is those off-premise services, they are going to stay for a while. So it's not going to be permanent based on the data, but at least when the customers were surveyed by the end of May, this is what they have indicated. As here highlighted, we can see that anywhere ranging from quick service restaurant to fast casual to casual style, more than 60%, anywhere ranging from 60% to 80% customers indicate that they are going to continue to use these off-premise services. Yeah, maybe not as much as fine dining, but definitely for the first three segments, customers are going to continue to use these services. Another interesting point is now it looks like we are gradually having customer back in for on-property services. And out of the 4 different segments we have seen in terms of sit-down dining, casual style and family style restaurant receive the highest responses. So we can safely conclude if we're looking around pretty much casual dining and family style restaurant will be most likely to welcome customer back initially for the indoor sit-down dining. And it's also interesting to see that maybe at this point, fine dining may have a little bit struggle, and to such an extent that about a third of the respondents indicate they're not going to use any of these services. So it doesn't matter off-premise or sit-down dining. All right. So I think this is what I got so far. So I'll defer to my colleague, Dr. Lindsay Lee, to continue the rest.
Thank you. So far we've talked about the customer sentiment regarding whether or not they're going to be coming back. And we also covered which services customers and consumers are most likely going to continue using in a post-COVID era. So first I wanted to discuss, we polled all of our participants and we asked them how soon they will be willing to take a leisure vacation after stay-at-home orders are lifted. We define leisure travel as being rooted in escaping the everyday life by engaging in recreation, entertainment, hospitality, or tourism activities. And considering the fact that we've all been at home for an extended amount of time, I'm sure that everybody is wanting to get out and be able to go on vacation again, and a lot of the same sentiments were reflected in the data that was collected. If you take a look at the table that will pop up shortly in the next slide. Lou, do you mind switching for me? Thank you. So if you take a look at this chart, our respondents did indicate that within the next 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months after stay-at-home orders are lifted, they are most likely to be able to engage in these leisure travels. So in terms of measuring consumption needs that local businesses can address and prepare for reopening, it seems like the most important factors in deciding when and where to visit once stay-at-home ordinances are lifted are going to be implementing safety and health procedures for workers, as well as implementing social distancing and guidelines. Some of these factors were discussed in our previous slides, but maybe in order to help small businesses be able to reopen and be able to take on the demand of the customer's needs, we should focus on those 2 areas, as well as the other 10 that were mentioned previously. If we can go to the next slide, we also asked our participants which of the following trips you would like to plan and take after stay-at-home orders are lifted. And a lot of the respondents indicated that they're most likely to be taking local leisure or domestic leisure travel plans. In terms of the difference between leisure and business, leisure travel, again, is just the idea of escaping the everyday, whereas business travels are more limited and focusing on work-related responsibilities. So considering the fact that a lot of our respondents indicated that both local and leisure trips and travel is what they're going to be planning after stay-at-home orders are lifted, we would recommend that hospitality, tourism, and businesses should focus on reopening efforts based off the previously mentioned consumption needs, such as implementing social distancing, whether that be those markers on the floor that indicates 6 feet distance between consumers, providing sanitizing products, whether they be increased numbers of hand sanitizer stations throughout your facility, or even airlines and other small businesses providing sanitizing wipes to be able to wipe down their seating area. There's also a push for employees wearing more PPE and masks, whether they be the barriers or face shields, but this will help boost consumer confidence in the fact that we as an industry are taking great measures to be able to ensure that people are staying safe while still engaging in leisure and domestic travel. Lastly, I would like to discuss another chart where we asked our participants, and they indicated some would agree to strongly agree regarding the following factors they're taking into consideration when deciding to take a leisure vacation or not. So we asked participants to be able to indicate which factors are most important to them. The top concerns are centered around the potential risk of contracting COVID while traveling, as well as destinations and businesses that are not recovering from normal operations. So focusing on the second top concern, we would suggest that people are more likely to want to engage in normal experiences of travel and hospitality, or as close to normal as possible. So we would recommend that a lot of businesses be able to boost consumer confidence, whether that's through messaging or communication, being able to indicate that, hey, these are the measures that we're taking to be able to ensure a normal experience for all of our consumers. It would boost a lot of their confidence and our ability to be able to deliver on a lot of their experiences that they're used to engaging in when traveling and eating out and things like that. I also wanted to point out for the fourth factor, participants are also expressing concern regarding unexpected cancellations of flights and business reservations due to COVID. So our recommendation would be to still refer to the potential inconveniences and non-usual experiences that guests are anticipating when engaging in travel after stay-at-home orders are lifted. So we would advise that destination managers, as well as hospitality and tourism businesses, put more emphasis on communicating cancellation policies to encourage booking, or be able to put out messaging that shows a measure of goodwill as to we're all in this together. We want to support you in consuming our services. So it's just the notion that we are trying to restore customer confidence by focusing on their needs, their domestic and leisure needs, as well as the business's responsibility to safeguard against the spread of COVID. So just wanted to close out to see if there's any questions from the audience. If not, thank you for participating. We'll give a few moments for any potential questions.
Let's see them coming through.
Maybe we can continue to some promotions for our future webinar series that'll help circulate some of your minds, and then we can go ahead and see if there's any more questions from the audience before closing out.
Sure. I think in the previous slide, we provided my information and Dr. Lindsay Lee, and if the participant have any question in the future, feel free to contact us. So as we're closing it out, we do want to remind you, this is our first session for the consumer-centered survey, taking the customer's pulse. We also have a second session scheduled on the August 3rd, and just another promotion for this series of webinars. And please visit our website for the Center for Hospitality Resilience at sthm.temple.edu/CHR. You will be exploring a host of different various topics, and please feel free to register and participate. Right.
Also, I think it's important to note too that we will not be sending out slides or the recordings of our webinars, but we're going to be producing white papers to share afterwards with more details and content that we're creating for this whole series. And will be posted on the CHR website as well.
Okay, if that's it, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our future webinars.